Yay, I'm live on YouTube. That's crazy. Oh my God. Wow. I'll have to figure out if there's a way to do filters because I don't look like this. All right. Well, that aside, I actually have an agenda and I thought, why don't I start, with a YouTube video? Because I don't know. I'm trying to reach out. I'm trying to build a community and a safe community. And as an adult survivor of childhood trauma and abuse, and also 9/11, I have PTSD. Uh, so that's post traumatic stress disorder. I have complex post traumatic stress disorder. So that's CPTSD. I have um what is it? It's like made hold on. Did I write it in here? No, oh yeah, major depressive disorder or something like that. Um, my psychiatrist said that if I was suicidal, and I was at some point, you can read it in the book, but if I was suicidal, then he would definitely have me, put in a hospital for a little while. But it's clinical depression, right? It's something that you cannot fucking blink away. You don't just get over shit because it's in your brain. So, anyways, in order to not go too far off topic, my name is Phoenix. I am Phoenix, and I am a survivor. I know probably said that already. My memory sucks ass. So I may forget where I am at certain times because I really don't know what I'm doing here with the video, Anyways, so uh, you know, there okay, so I want to sort of talk about the reasons for the page. Why am I doing this? Why am I ripping myself open and putting it on this so that other people can see it and tear into me? But the thing is, fortunately for me, I don't really give a flying fuck, right? And people can have the views they have, and I will kill them with kindness because I think that people who post negative things, they're just sad and they want to fight because a fight will make them feel more alive and more important. So, and that's just a theory. I don't know. Because as I said in the text, I'm not a doctor, although I should be a psychiatrist because I got a lot of information in this fucked up brain. So my basic story is that, I was born on May 4th, 1977 at Glens Falls Hospital. My biological mother was Eileen Alden, and my name at the time when I was born was Jessica Lynn Hazlitt. Then when my mother's divorce went through because she was married before, and that was a really bad situation. I'll go into it in the book, but she was married before, and she had what, 5 kids or something with him, so I have half siblings. Unfortunately for me, they're all what I think of as religious fanatics. And so I don't have a relationship with any of them, and they know nothing about me. It's fascinating when I think about it because I feel like I'm right back where I started, when I was in foster care. Anyways, so this is the reason for the page, is to connect with other people and to also have an out, a way to talk about what I'm going through so that I will have a record for myself on this journey, and I can look back on the bad days and go, "Oh gosh, I am definitely in a better place than I was then." Today has been, I think, the most productive day that I have had in I don't even know how long, probably since I was working, you know? Um, I'm getting things done. I'm retraining my brain. And when I get hit with the darkness, I'm learning to fight against it. And so, I'm on a certain level of healing. And so some people may be on this level or above and they can handle me. But if you're below this level, maybe not the page for you, not the person to listen to. I don't want to trigger anybody, I don't want to hurt anybody. That's not the purpose here. Purpose here is to create a safe place for people to share their stories. And I also have a blog and a Facebook page. So PTSD Trauma Survivors is the blog. And then facebook.com/trauma survivors is so that's my Facebook page. And I'm going to figure out how to connect all of them. And I also hope that I look like I have like this huge red face. What? I also look like I'm missing a tooth when I have a crooked smile. All right. What I wanted to talk about too is I guess I'm just going to sort of go through it and use these notes that I have here as a guideline. So, I was born, my biological mother, she was very sick. Back then they called it schizophrenic something something, and then oh god, was it bipolar or I don't know what it was, but it fucked up my life. And so from birth to 11 years old, I was abused, tortured, moved. I basically grew up and did not get an education at all, a primary school education at all, because I was constantly being moved. I moved 32 to 42 times. We're still going through the paperwork by the time I was 11 years old. And that doesn't count the times, 1 to 3, or 0 to 3 really doesn't really count. And I was ripped from my mother, several times a year when she would have to go into the MHU, which is the mental health unit of Glens Falls. And so, yeah, there's a huge story here. There's a lot of crap, and so I'm going to be writing out some stuff, creating like little booklets or little pamphlets that people can just download if they want to read them, or they can read them online, whatever. I'm also working on getting a bunch of blog posts together, and if anybody wants to share their story anonymously or, use your name, it's up to you. You can contact me so that we can figure out, how to do it. I would probably do a little video and just read it and yeah, because everybody's story deserves to be told. So talk to me. Tell me your story. Tell me how you're angry and you're hurt and you're frustrated and you're scared and you're sad and you're guilty, right? All these feelings that just, they don't belong to us. They belong to the abusers. So my perspective on it now, okay, is very different than it was when I first started this Facebook page. So I up until today, I've been just going live on the Facebook page. But actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Just in case, I'm gonna post this on my Facebook page just to see if anybody would like to come. Uh, all right. I love Technology, man, I really do. Ah, the first computer I got, um okay, so my mom bought us a computer and it was really expensive and it was this huge thing that came with like 3 or 4 really big boxes. And I mean, back then it was just so slow, it was so ugh, and so I got into hacking into the computer and changing things around. I haven't done that actually. I haven't tried to do that on this computer or any computer really because of the depression most likely. But now I'm starting to get curious, so I'm probably going to dig into it. Um so basically, the trauma lasted a really long time, and I was amazingly adopted by the most kind, loving, caring person in the world. I mean, my mom adopted me, and I was 11, and I was angry, and I was not, I was just foster home to foster home to foster home, and I was having feelings that I didn't understand. It wasn't only until later that I could articulate them, and that's one of the things that I want to do is I want to help people articulate what you're going through. It's so important because the anger or rage that is felt, that's just a symptom of a whole bigger issue, okay? And there are ways to learn how to deal with that. And I'm working on it because unfortunately I'm working on a book and I get triggered by the stuff what did I put? Oh, by the stuff that I'm remembering. I'm having lots of memories that are just coming back to me. And it's really interesting because it's like I didn't necessarily have that memory before, but when it slips in, it tries to trick me into and this sounds so weird, but it's like it's my brain is trying to trick me into, oh, that was always there, but there was a door in front of it. And and so this is going to be an interesting story, interesting narrative that I'm going to be writing and talking about because I find the human brain fascinating. I find survivors fascinating because there's something in us that allowed us to survive. What way we choose, that's on us, okay? You have to take responsibility for yourself at some point because we were given this legacy of pain and this legacy of abuse and torture and hurt and control. Our bodies were not our own. Why do you think I got a stupid haircut like this? I did it myself. And it's like, I got mostly the blue, but I'm going to be going back to pink. But anyways, I'm just saying, I've got tattoos. I've got, my Harley tattoo. I got my I chose life tattoo. And then I got this baby. I actually had her, but she was just sort of grayed out and stuff. And so I went to an artist and he fixed it and added color, which suits me wickedly because I'm all about color. So here's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about is like the changes that I've noticed. First of all, I'm surprised that I even started that Facebook page. It's pretty wild to me. But somehow I just started doing it, and I think I don't know if I was taking the medication then or not. I don't think I was taking medication then because I've been doing this for a lot of years. So, but once I started taking medication, it started to work as a tool so that it would clear up avenues in my brain and allow me to start this healing process. One of the things that really sucks is the memory, because I can be mid-sentence and I lose it. So you'll have to forgive me, because I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be. I don't know everything. All I know is my story, my narrative, just like you. And so sharing it is important to me because I want people to know, I want you to know as a survivor, you are not alone. And by that, I'm not, trying to say, "Oh, you're not alone. Other people suffer, so your suffering doesn't matter." No. Everybody's suffering matters. 3 things can happen simultaneously, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, but, I am of the last generation that grew up without computers, and we that didn't happen until a later point. I think really I was in college when I really started using the computer, but we didn't have laptops. I mean, that was too expensive. I don't know. Excuse me, but I remember using typewriters. And I was excited because I got one that had like a little display on it. Mom got that for me. Um, okay. Anyways, everything about me has changed, and that is why I am Phoenix now. Because the first 11 years of my life, I was spent rebuilding, 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 falling, rebuilding constantly. Okay. When you go from foster home to foster home to foster home to mother to foster home to foster home to mother to family friend to foster home, yeah, you're going to get fucked up. And I mean, even if it was just the 32 times on TV, they make a big deal out of people who have suffered and gone through what I've gone through and moved as much as I've moved. Instead, they're like, I was in 3 foster homes, and everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, where the fuck is my sympathy? Where the fuck is, oh, you're awesome, you survived." It has to come from me, and yours has to come from you, and you have to take responsibility because we are responsible for how we react. We are responsible for how we treat people. If you are abusive, then you are just continuing the pattern. But let me tell you something. It's really simple, guys and gals and whatever, everybody. It's really simple. It doesn't have to be that way. The anger, the rage, all this stuff that you might be feeling that I felt, it's pointless. So the only time that I'm angry is when I'm reacting to a trigger, or I have been triggered and then for a while I am still triggered and I haven't caught it yet. And that's one of the things that I want to also work with people on is how you recognize your triggers, you recognize the emotions that come with it, you recognize how you react, and you work on doing that differently. So that you're not angry, or if you are angry, you understand that it's not about this person, it's something inside of you because of what happened to you, and that was not your fault. So that guilt, it doesn't belong to me, it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the abusers. And I don't even, I only know a couple of the abusers. Who is it? I was in so many foster homes that they all blur together, but there were a few areas that, excuse me, that I remember quite well. And I will talk about them, when I come on next time. But my perception of life has changed. My perception of my biological mother has changed. During this, journey, I actually found out who my biological father was through a DNA test. My sister is the one who found me. Because I was on ancestry.com, and I didn't go on there a lot because, I'm a bastard and, orphaned and then adopted and then, sort of betrayed by my own family, and so all I have is my mom and my aunt, mostly my mom. I mean, my aunt's always there, but um, but but I hate those, filler words like, you know who, talks beautifully and has mastery over the pause? Barack Obama, man, that dude was awesome. Man, could he talk. Um, you know who can't? Trump. And in comes the hate messages. Um, so how my life has changed. Okay, so I've lost almost see. So I've lost 200 pounds and and then about 30, 40 pounds so far. I was very massive because I was chemically fucked in my brain, and so food was the only thing that comforted me. Um, it's shitty, and so I just kept eating and eating and eating and becoming more and more unhappy. I was in a major, major depression. I didn't understand or realize, but I had been pushing down my past. I had been pushing it down, and it started bubbling up. And when it started bubbling up, it would fuck everything up. And then I have a breakdown, a nervous breakdown, and I remember the day very well because I was sitting at my desk and I had been staring at it for about a half an hour, and I think I was crying. I don't even know. I was like, I can't function. I can't think. I can't. And so I was like, this is it. I can't do it anymore. And so I went in and I talked to him, and he was really awesome because I am a freelancer now. I have my own business. And so I'm able to, do work for him still, but he doesn't have to pay for health insurance and things like that. And then hopefully, as I start to get better, I'll be able to focus more on the business and, get going. But right now, what I'm focusing on is the adult survivors of childhood trauma and abuse. Um, excuse me. Panic attacks, anxiety attacks, they're all very real. They're chemically induced. You cannot just stop them with thought. That's not how it works. I'm addicted to alprazolam, which is Xanax. So I recommend you stay away from any benzos because they do work, but your body gets so used to them that at that point, they stop having any effect at all. And so that's something that I'm dealing with right now. And I'm trying to get the Xanax out of my system little by little so that I can, just use it when I have a panic attack. If I'm not having a panic attack, I don't have to use it. So I don't know. The doctor said I should try the gabapentin as well, but I have, and it doesn't really have any effect on me. So works for other people, unfortunately, and I don't know if we have to, fuck with the medications or not because it's very confusing, and that's why I'm keeping record of it. It's very confusing from day to day how I am and how this depression comes kind of in waves, really. And so before it was like I was you know what? Okay. You ready? I was down here, okay? And with the healing, the goal is from here you go up and then you stop and then this is your down, right? And then you go up and you stop and then that's your down. Well, it didn't matter. Everything's my down. Oh man. Okay, so I totally forgot what I was talking about. Told you that would happen. Okay, so there have been a lot of twists and turns in my life, and I'm going to be sharing them with people because I I need to be understood and I need validation too, but I also want to give that out to people who need it. Everybody is suffering from something, right? And nobody's suffering is like better is worse than the other because for each person their level of suffering is worse for them, and that's valid. So what I went through may not be what you went through, but that doesn't matter because we can still empathize with each other because childhood trauma fucking sucks. And Generation X, man, we just got socked with it. And that's when we were starting to come up with names and shit for it. You should read The Body Keeps the Score by somebody with a name that I can't pronounce right now. It's a really good book and it talks about how they discovered PTSD and realized that they had been like labeling people who come in with panic attacks as like schizophrenic. So you can imagine when my biological mother was being treated, and this would be what, 60s, 70s, 80s, I would assume, because she was in her 30s in the 80s. So maybe maybe some 60 and then 70 and then I mean she was a young bride. And that's a whole other story. So what I've noticed is that I am able to control my reactions most of the time. So if I get triggered, I'll just say, "Okay, well, I'm triggered." And I articulate what I'm feeling, and then we move on. I accept it and we move on. If I can't accept it, then I have to process it for a while, deal with it, and then I move on. I learn from every situation that I'm in. Everything that has happened to me, I have learned something from. I have forced myself to learn something from. So I am 46 years old and I'm relying on my mother right now financially. Um, I am incapable of focusing long enough to work and remembering what the fuck I'm doing. I will stare at the computer screen and forget it, and I'm just like, "Oh God, what am I doing?" And sometimes it comes back, and sometimes it doesn't. I'm sure the THC helps a little bit too with that, but even when I'm not smoking, I have this problem. So it's a mess. It's a mess living this life. And I know that this is not something that people probably want to watch. This is a specific arena of people, right? This is for people like myself who are seeking others to validate each other and to recognize the pain, to acknowledge the pain, and to work through the pain. That's one of the biggest things is that I have constantly my entire life, my entire conscious life, I have had to fight every day to keep on going. And I'm not joking. It's the truth. And there's never been a happy day. Maybe a happy moment, happy hour, but never a happy day. Um, I was always surrounded by people and not one of them loved me. So that made life difficult, and it also made it very difficult for me to, have relationships because I have a reactive relationship disorder, okay? So, I think if there's ever an argument or disagreement or something like that, it's over. You're out of my life, right? I don't want that, but my reaction sometimes with the triggering, that's what it was doing, and so I managed to push everybody out of my life, but, it goes 2 ways, not one of them was willing to help me through the darkness so that they could be there when I start to emerge. I'm emerging. I'm being reborn into a phoenix, okay? And, that is my identity now. I am saying positive things to myself now, whereas in the past, I would beat myself up. I can't remember if I told you about this, but when I was working, my last position, uh, there was a really long hallway to the bathroom. Now I'm 400 pounds plus, okay, and there's a really long hall to the bathroom, and so I would walk and I would, be in my own head, and I'd be like, "You are fat, you are ugly, you are disgusting, you're pathetic, you're a piece of shit, you're not worth anything." These are all the voices from the past just bombarding me constantly, and that is what eventually led to me being unable to do anything anymore. I finally broke. I couldn't hide it, I couldn't push it down, and I never really tried to do that. I mean, well, that's not true. Before, when I was younger, I did try to be normal, but I now I that's the last thing I wanna be. You know? I will bully the bullies, but I would rather kill them with kindness. So that's my process, you know? This online stuff, it's kinda new to me, with the videos and things like that, so I don't know. If anybody does watch this, I just want you to know that it's possible to heal, right? You're never gonna heal and be 100% of what you might have been. That doesn't matter. Forget what you might have been because you're not that, right? And stop saying your past doesn't define you because it fucking defines you. Okay. A lot of things define you, but your past definitely defines you. If you are suffering and you are going through this, your past is affecting you. It makes you who you are. It influences the decisions that you make in your life. All right, let's see. Do, 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 do. Okay, and so here's the interesting thing. The hardest thing about this has been learning to like to be alone because I have been under the gaze for so long that without it, I feel like I'm an empty vessel. I'm wearing a meat suit and it's just empty inside. Mm. Mm. And all I can do is just keep fighting. Sometimes I need to rest, and that's okay. You can rest too. I'm gonna go and I'm not going anywhere, but I'm gonna leave you now since I've sort of introduced myself, talked about this. I wanted to talk about a couple of other things. I'm starting to clean again. I'm starting to care about my home again. Before I was just oblivious to all of it. And now, I'm painting my kitchen floor. It's a sparkly blue and it's so cute. Um, but I'm trying also something that I actually pissed on before. I was like, "Oh, positive thoughts? That's so fucking stupid," you know? But I've been thinking about it, and now I'm ready to accept that maybe positive thoughts can have a difference. They can help a little bit. And so that's what I've been working on lately is switching those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. But if you're out there alone, just know that you're not. I'm here. Others hopefully will come and we will be able to create a community. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay not to be ashamed. I have no shame for what was done to me. None. I also don't get embarrassed. And it takes a lot more to get me angry these days. That's pretty groovy. But I used to take things so personally, and I'm like, oh, for cry eye. Everybody's got their reasons, right? So the trolls have their reasons to leave nasty comments. Salespeople leave comments, and those we just have to get rid of. And the trolls, you feel sorry for them because it must be really hard living that kind of life, holding on to that much hate and anger. It's gotta suck massively. Um, but I have noticed a difference. I'm cleaning, I'm taking out the garbage, I'm taking care of the fish tank. Unfortunately, right now it's a little cloudy, so I have to empty it and empty most of it and fill it up. So, yeah. But I'm doing it, and I'm taking care of my cats. I have Leela over here. She is absolutely adorable. And she cannot go to the bathroom by herself because she will piss on me, on the couch, on the floor, on the carpet. She'll just piss anywhere. So I have to be really careful and I have to take her in. She's lucky I had a breakdown because I have to take her into the bathroom and hold her, and pet her so that she's comfortable going. And that's why she comes and pisses on me sometimes is because I didn't read her language properly and I didn't know what she needed, and so she pissed on me and I have to sit there because you're not supposed to yell at them or anything because that makes them more sensitive too. So I'm like, all right, so I cleaned it up, laundry, put in the laundry and cleaned myself up, and it was okay. But there was a point when she first started this that I was just panicked, 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 totally freaked out. Takes a lot to freak me out these days. I am on a journey and my down, right, was where I kept going. So I would go up a little higher, right here. And then when I went down, I went straight down. And then I would have to go higher, but then I'd go a little bit higher than that and again straight down. And so those beginning years, okay, if I look in the camera, I think I'm looking at you. Okay. So those beginning years, hmm, fuck. What was I talking about? Huh. I don't know. I hope you can glean something from it because I forgot. Um, I think losing all of the friends was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I get to start over fresh and I get to start over as a new person, and that makes me happy. And I'm literally a new person because I lost a whole person and a half, So all of my clothes are very big on me. It's a wonderful feeling. I'm not buying any clothes until I get to a stable weight. And of course, I'm probably going to have to get, this tummy tuck, I'm probably going to have to get that. Um, and I accept that my body will never be plump and young and beautiful again. It's always gonna look like a deflated balloon. You should see my tits. It's hideous. You mean they're just not pretty anymore, you know? So I gotta start doing the workouts. But I've accepted that death is something that will come at any time. And the hardest part for me is accepting that I'm gonna have to live with these disorders my entire life. That means that I have to learn to accommodate them. And if you go to the page or you go to my blog, which I'm working on, um, you will see that my philosophy is acknowledge, accept, accommodate, educate. You have to accommodate yourself. Let the people around you know what's going on. It's okay to talk about it. You don't have to tell them your whole life story, but it's okay to say, look, I'm dealing with this. I have, this disorder. So, that's just what it is. And if you need to take mental health days, fucking take mental health days. Do not become a me and have a breakdown unless you need to. Apparently, I did. But I'm also trying to, use this as a way to learn how to refocus again, to do multiple things. It's very exhausting for me to even do, what I've done here, and set this up. And no, I'm not a professional. This is my home. This is my old used couch that is so comfortable. Um, and I am whatever I am. It's you accept it or you don't. I think with me, there's no in between. And that's because of my reactive relationship disorder. So I have to learn how to have different kinds of relationships, have relationships with people who are just, you get together once a year or something like that. And I have to know that there may not ever be anyone other than my mother who will know me and accept me as I am healing, as I am moving towards whatever my best me will be. And I'm going to be doing that for my whole life. So, you know, um, I would like very much to become a foster mother, an adoptive mother. I want to take the kids that everybody has given up on, as long as they are not known for hurting animals. But I wanna give them a home, and I want them to know that they are 100% my kids. They don't have to call me mom, but, I will take care of them, and, I'm not gonna get a stipend for it because I'm gonna take the stipend and put it in the bank for the kids so that they'll have it when they turn 18, and if they age out of the foster care system, you know, they are still able to stay here if they want to, because this home will always be their home. And I never had that. Never. I had the biggest fucking file in Warren County. They had never seen a file as large as mine. I had them send it to me, and it came, and I thought it was a big fucking book. I mean, it was just like two reams of paper, front and back, of my life, of my history until I was 11 years old. My story is long, as is everyone's, I'm sure, and it's intricate. It's very fascinating how it has gone, moving here, moving there, moving here, moving there, being ripped away from my mother. That was the worst part. And they don't count that as moves. I count that as fucking moves. Being able to visit my mom, and it had to be watched over by a what was it, caseworker. Okay, so we would have those visits, and then I would have to go, and it was horrible being ripped away from my mother. And then there were times when I was able to just stay with her and have visits with her, and then I'd be ripped away from her. And this is all 11 years, you know. The abuse is something else, you know. She was a fanatic and she was sick, and she wasn't getting the help she needed, and her family deserted her and me. We were kind of the dirty secret, apparently. I didn't know that, but I'm glad I didn't know that, because that would have pissed me off back then. I'd be like, dirty secret? All right, motherfucker. I'll show you a dirty secret. I'm spilling this shit, man. My family, Alden's in New York, upstate New York. Blackbirds, Aldens, Russos on my father's side. I have a father's side. I've never met him, but I did talk to him, and he is a massive asshole. No, I don't think I even talked to him. I texted him, but it was like, it was interesting because during the conversation, I was very much angry. And so I just reamed his ass, you know? And so, of course, we're not going to get along. But I mean, you have to understand, it was 45 years, I think, of repressed anger towards him for leaving me with my mother, my biological mother, forcing me to have the life that I had. And I realized afterwards that he was just a fucked up human being. I mean, he has a failed his name is Anthony Chris Russo. He has a failed relationship with his two children that he, had in his life. Um, and then, no relationship with me, no relationship with them. And he purposely calls my brother, says it's a butt dial. My brother talks to him and, is happy for a moment until he goes, I don't give a fuck about what's going on with you. This motherfucker is a bad guy. He chose to perpetuate the abuse. He chose to perpetuate the anger and the rage. It's not anyone else's fault except his. You have to take responsibility for yourself, for that rage. You have to take responsibility for the pain and how you react, because it's up to you to become the best you. Don't go the violent way, man. Don't perpetuate that abuse. Learn who you are inside and out, the good and the bad, and who you want to be. You have to open yourself up and rip yourself apart. Just like opening Pandora's box. Once you do it, there's no going back. I'm not even exaggerating. There's no going back. I may have difficult times now, but they're nowhere near what it was in the beginning. And at my worst, I was suicidal and I had a plan, but I couldn't do it because of my mom. I didn't want her to find me. I didn't want her to have me die before her, on purpose, you know? So I got fucked up in a lot of ways, man. I was fucked up for a long time. Alcohol, weed, yeah, it was basically those two, and the Xanax to take away the anxiety and the panic. But I mean, I was not accepting anything at that point. I was just lost and I was hurt. And so I lashed out, and nobody thought that I was worth it to stick around. And so that's on them, because I'm fucking awesome. I am. I'm weird. I'm strange. I'm eccentric. But you know what? I don't know anyone else who's painted their refrigerator pink and painted their house like all different colors, put things all over the place, just like I was a kid. And, now I'm painting my kitchen floor a really pretty sparkly blue. I'm also doing a couple cabinets with it if I have enough left over. But the thing is, I'm doing it. I had mounds of laundry. No one should have as many clothes as I have, but I had mounds of laundry that needed to be done. So I finally got it done. Now I have to put everything away. I put the first part away. Now I have to put everything else away because you know how depression, it just makes you not want to do anything and not care about anything. By the time I had my breakdown, aw, fry. By the time I had my breakdown, I had fought and fought and fought against it. And I forgot what I was talking about, but now I'm talking about the breakdown. I had been fighting for years and years and years, my whole life, right? Because I didn't want to be like bio mom. That was my biggest fear for the first, what, 20 years, 30, 25 years of my life. Ouch. Um, but once I started taking the medication, I lost these fears and it rewired my brain. So now I don't eat or I pig out. And it's like no matter how much weight I'm losing, I don't see it. I still see the big 400-pound woman that is not me. That was not me. I was in this shell. Eating gave me comfort. One of the things that's interesting too, that I want to share, just in case anybody watches this, is I had to relearn how to do evenings. I would go to bed at 4 o'clock. I'm still doing it actually because I wake up at 4 o'clock. So, so sometimes I'll go into bed really early and just watch TV and then fall asleep and watch TV, fall asleep, whatever. Um, fuck, forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so yeah, that was okay. Now I remember. I need to learn who I am, and that's what I'm in the process of doing. And excuse me, if I hadn't have had all of these people leave me, um, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. I mean, I'm able to sit here now and write about what my life has been like, what I've gone through. And I don't know that people can comprehend what it's like to move as much as I had, to be ripped away from your only mother, Stockholm syndrome. I was loyal as fuck. I loved her very much and I hated her just as much. I was a very angry kid and a very angry adult. And then something happened, I started taking the medication and I started slowly moving up the ladder, very slowly. And so this day is probably the highest point that I've had I don't even know how long. So, yeah, I need to figure out who I am and that's challenging, because there's something that I call the gaze, and the gaze is everyone objectifying me, everyone, criticizing me, putting labels on me. I was not my own. I had to be the way that they wanted me to be. Every fucking foster home was different. I was so fucking angry. I mean, I'm not surprised. These people were in it for the money. They wanted, kids they could handle. I want the kids like me because my mom saved my life over and over and over again. She is the one who's giving me the opportunity to do this. I wish I could do something for her, and someday maybe I will. My skills, if I could fucking focus, would give me a very, very high advantage among many other people. And, I'd be back to making like 100 grand or something, 80 to 100, you know. because I know the old code and the new code. But I just have to learn to focus again. And so that's what I'm going to be doing with Adult Survivor. And, if you have something that you want to say, please say it. Your honest reaction, and we'll start a conversation because that's why I want to do this, right? I want to start the conversation and I want to stop the fucking stigma. Just because you cannot see it, although I guess with me, maybe you can, but just because you cannot see it, right, doesn't mean that it's not there. Our brains are rewired when we go through traumatic experiences, when we are abused, when we are neglected, when um, the brain is affected. Okay. So it would be like telling somebody to take a cast off a broken arm. Oh, you don't need that cast. It's like, yeah, I don't need that cast. Oh, man. Thankfully, I have lost the ability to be embarrassed or get angry at most things. And I will be there for people. That's what I want to do with my life. I want to help other people. And so to do that, I have to make money doing my programming and doing the SEO and doing all of that stuff, making people, you know, uh, uh, their online presence, I guess, more important. It's changed in the years. I've been doing this for many, many years and it's changed a lot. And it's going to change even more. And so it's so important to stay up to date. And I know that as people age, sometimes they get cranky and they get scared. And so things anger them. And I don't know. I just think life's too short. Look, I don't know what comes after, if anything comes after. I think nothing does. I think we just become one with the planet again. We're all made of stardust and we all go back to it. I don't know if a consciousness exists. Yes, I have feelings. Yes, I'm here, but am I more than this meat suit? And I think I am. And I think we all are in some way, but you have to really go deep to get there. And my journey's taken me up and down and all around. I mean, I have had some bad months, years where I was reckless and stupid. But who would have thought a bike would save me? I mean, I have the cutest bike now and it's so good and it's off off the trail type of bike too, because I wanted something that I could drive around the city if I want to get something. Because until I'm better, I don't want to have a car I don't want to drive. And poor Blanche, my car. Uh, she unfortunately got into a few accidents that could have been prevented, and so we decided to just take the insurance money and get my a bike and a new work computer, which I am working on now and learning how to use still, and pay off bills. And so now, it's like I really would love to be able to contribute financially, but I can't. And I accept that. And I do not feel guilty about it. I've talked to my mom, I've talked to my aunt, I've talked to my therapist and my psychiatrist, and my team, they all say the same thing. So I'm going to stop here because I keep forgetting what I'm saying and I'm really tired. But this is a long process. It takes years and years and years because it took years and years and years to get here. I'm gonna go make a salmon fillet with blueberries. OYG. I hope you guys have a great day. If anybody watches this, mwah, thank you for watching it. Please comment, please subscribe. I would really like to build a groovy community. Rock on. And now I'm going to try to end the stream. Bye, guys. And bye, everybody. Anybody? I don't know.